Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to SC Playbook, the EPL edition. Returning next weekend, and for the first time, the Supercoach family welcomes the round ball under its banner. Broadcasting in a new home on Stan Sport and Saturday night games, at least early on, through Channel 9. There is no reason for you not to be involved. My name's Alex Molchanoff. I'm here with Matty Jurman, Socceroo number 591, 2018 World Cup squad member, 226 A-League appearances to date. And it's just finished training with the Macarthur Bulls this morning, Matty. Nice to have you as part of the SC Playbook family, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I spoke to a few of the boys, and now it's get the EPL rolling.
That's it. We've got some real pedigree here now. It's usually just, us louts sort of floating in and getting into it. You're big into your fantasy Premier League? It's been a long time thing?
Yeah, I've been playing it for, I don't know, a long time now, and always keeps me interested in all the games, not just Liverpool games. So, similar to the Supercoach NRL, it's always good to have a lot of players where you can watch many games and have some interest in them. Absolutely.
It keeps you invested. And for us as well, it's going to be a challenge this year. We're going on a new scoring system. This, having the FPL, which everyone's so familiar with, and we're going to get into that during the podcast, is part of the changes that we're going to see in Supercoach and the differences between the two games, what you're looking for on one side versus the other. There's some price changes. There's some players that are classified. They're moving the wingers further forward, Matty, so that's going to be interesting for us. And Salah is even more expensive, which we'll get to quickly, than he is in FPL. So we'll talk about whether you can find a way for him in your side as we get through. Today, we're just going to go through sort of the top 10. Top 10, 15 players, see how long we get through, and the changes in the scoring system, what you're looking for in terms of picking up players, where the differences are between the attacking statistics, defensive. It's similar to FPL, but there are some significant changes that you're going to have to take into account. You're going to be hearing from us every game week. We've got an expanding team. Me and Matty just started off. We're looking to add a third head shortly. And you can keep along all season on SC Playbook EPL on X, Instagram and Facebook. That SC Playbook community already so large. And you'll see us pop up in our Unlimited League by the time you're hearing this. Use code 261350. And as with all our SC Playbook competitions, those familiar know, up to $1,000 in cash prizes to the winner. Pays to be consistent, pays to be listening in to us every week. Hopefully imparting some wisdom on you across the state of things. So, Matty, you're learning along with us. Yep. We're all learning because this is the first time we're seeing a scoring system in action. We've got all the data from what would have happened last year, for example. But goals, goal assists, given more points than they would be in FPL. So those forward players are valued probably a little bit more highly. And we've seen the changes in FPL this year with the defensive actions coming in, which you must be a big fan of. Of
course.
And that's already built into these games. So you're getting sort of half a point for crosses, dribbles, and then on the defensive side of the ball, half a point for tackles. Aerials, 1. You're getting a point for every 5 of those a player wins, a point for every 5 clearances. And then you're losing points for being dispossessed. Block shots score you a whole point. So that was something you were pretty good at during your career. Well, still are, mate. You're one who, for the last ditch, flying in across.
Get in. That deserves a point. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and then those players that are getting forward from defence are going to score you big points as well. 12 points for a goal scored by a defender, as well as 8 points for an assist from a defensive player versus 6 from a midfielder or a forward. So getting points for shots on target, clean sheets, all that sort of stuff as well. So we'll get through to that. The first thing I want to talk to you about, though, Matty, is the value of players. So Mohamed Salah is priced at 14.5 mil in FPL this season. He's 15.5 in Supercoach. So you're taking another chunk. The budget is the same, 100 million pounds.
Yep.
But Mohamed Salah at that price, he's the go to this game, has the 2 highest scoring seasons of all time, I think. Is he going to be a selection for you, given that, and the fact he's classified as a forward rather than a midfielder?
Yeah, I mean, that changes things a little bit. I think the high price is valid. He deserves to be that high, but you need to find space somewhere in your team. I feel like he's always a captaincy option every week, and Yeah, I think you need him in your team, but it depends how you balance the rest of your squad as well. So
it's interesting. So in this game, you don't have any of the tokens either. So you've got 44 trades across 38 game weeks. So you're averaging just over one. You know, if you're using 2 trades in a particular game week, it's a bigger risk than it usually would be, and you can't blow things up after game week 6 as a lot of people do in FPL. You've got to be sticking there, and that probably points further to Salah, knowing that he's likely to be out there every week. He's going to be scoring points every week. It's probably even higher a value here, hence the price rise.
So there's no wild card, right?
No wild card.
Yeah.
If you are blowing up the team, you're paying a heavy price.
And you're taking weeks.
Exactly right. And you're also costing yourself points, right? If you're going into using more than 2 trades in a single game week, you are costing yourself points directly.
Yeah, that's tough. That's why I think it's important to try and get your team balanced as much as possible before the season starts, because after that, then everything's done and dusted, and you have to take hits, and you don't want to do that obviously early on. So it's tough,
Absolutely.
Injuries, there's things that happen. Now till the start of the game week. But yeah, I feel like Salah is always a lock. He plays almost 90 minutes every week. Even though he's getting older, he's just getting better. So,
and the other thing is, with those guys moved out of the midfield, there are some good mid-range options in and around that zone. You're looking at guys like Andre Onana at Aston Villa. You're looking at guys that are coming in at just a little bit of a lower price. We're going to get into that shortly. Let's go to the most owned player at this stage. It's Cole Palmer. Matty, 51% are owning him at the moment. He's in my drafts all the time at the moment. He's actually my captain at the moment. I just think coming off that Club World Cup, he looks as though he's going to go to a next level. He's got a second season under his belt with a new manager, Enzo Maresca. What are you making of Chelsea as a whole, and how Cole Palmer is going to play into all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chelsea, they've had a good preseason, obviously, but at the same time, they haven't had that break, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go through the whole season. But to start the season, they're in good form, obviously, and Cole Palmer's always in the thick of it. So they've got a few good signings as well, and I think they've got good early fixtures to invest in early. So Cole Palmer could be a good shout, to be honest. Have to look at that one.
Absolutely. Are you thinking, when you're putting your team together at the moment, you're going for a couple of those big guns, or if you have Salah and Palmer in there, for example, you're going to be costing yourself down the other end?
Yeah, I mean, usually I like to go cheap with the defenders, right? And that doesn't mean I devalue the defense, but you just look for those sort of value options where they're going to play every week. And now it's even better because they're getting points for different types of things where they never got it before, and also you try and pick those guys that can score off set pieces or they're attacking. Usually I go for the fullbacks, so they're always getting an assist or something, But it's gonna be interesting. I need to look at my team and start getting it all locked in.
This is part of it, is getting all your thoughts together. For our benefit as much as the audience is this afternoon. Reminder that you can go onto SC Playbook. We've got some stuff up there already. It's going to be pumping out through the course of the season. My attacking and midfield analysis is up there, as well as some stuff from Stevie Nico, who's an experienced Supercoach player and is coming into this as a Newcastle fan, but with a high IQ background in terms of Supercoach and what to be looking for. Chelsea's opening couple of fixtures: Crystal Palace at home, West Ham away, Fulham at home, Brentford away, and then Manchester United away before they get into a bit of a tougher run where Brighton, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest are in and about there. So that's our thoughts on Cole Palmer. He's a must-have for me. The second most owned player in the game, and you actually pointed this out to me just before we hit record today, Matty. Rodri is at 47% because of that low price, 3.9 million, but he's got a groin strain, and Pep Guardiola is telling us overnight that he's probably not going to be fit until mid-September. So suddenly a player that you're looking to keep room for, but probably not having at the start, which so many in Supercoach have at the moment. Yeah,
I mean, he's obviously a big player for Man City, but he's injured. So, you've got to take that into consideration. And I think there's lot of options that you could look at as well, especially in the Man City midfield. Maybe that's going to take over that position. Maybe a lot cheaper as well.
It's difficult there as well, isn't it? Because City rotate so much, as we see with a lot of those top teams. What are you making of how they're setting up? They had such a disappointing year last year. We're going to get to Erling Haaland in a minute. But what are you making of them generally? Are you expecting them to bounce back? Or is it going to be another year where they're there or thereabouts, but not quite the dominant force they have been in the past?
I see a bounce back for sure. I think, like they always do, they spend a lot of money on players. And, I think these players that have come in, some of them have played in the EPL already. So they've got that experience, very attacking minded as well. The left back from Wolves.
Aït-Nouri.
Aït-Nouri,
he's becoming a popular option for Supercoach players as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's difficult to know if he's going to start every week. That's the only thing with Pep Roulette,
exactly.
You don't know who's going to start, and that's a problem. And usually I don't really like to go for Man City players because of that reason. Haaland's different. Yeah. Usually I try and fit him in somewhere, but last year he was, to go against having him was actually a better option. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes this year.
So back to full fit. Let's go there because 11.6 million, 39% of Supercoach players at the moment own him. In City's worst season this decade, I wrote in the preview, he still banged in 22 in 31 games. But you're right, the players who got away from him early tended to end up higher because of some of the replacement options you could get in there. Are you starting this season with him?
Yeah, I'm going to look definitely into that option. I haven't done my team yet, but I'm gonna have to try and get him in there, I reckon.
Absolutely.
If it's not him, another midfielder, I reckon, someone who's attacking minded. But it's hard to know which one is going to start, for Pep. So.
Absolutely. And you're probably only going to be able to fit one of him and Salah into your team, given they're in the same position here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And the cost is there, so you're going to have to make that choice early, given that Liverpool coming off that winning season. You're a Liverpool fan, right?
I am. Yeah.
So we'll disclose that as well. But you were going to cost yourself down the other end. But again, Salah's consistency last year was just off the charts.
Yeah. I think, if you can only have one, I'm going Salah.
Okay.
Probably a bit of favouritism there, but I just think Liverpool's team now is, it's even better than what it was last year, right? And they won it last year, so hopefully that means it's only going to get better. But Haaland's also gonna score some goals.
Absolutely.
So you need to pick wisely.
Yes. Let's stay with Liverpool for just a moment because Florian Wirtz has signed from Leverkusen. He's owned by 18% of players at the moment, coming in at a relatively low price of $8 million. He's captured the imagination to an extent because of his form in Germany under Xabi Alonso at that great Leverkusen side. How does he fit into this Liverpool team? And are we going to see the same sort of return that we were seeing in Germany, or is he going to be playing a little more of a backseat role?
I see him being the creative link between the defence and the midfield and the strikers, with the wingers. So there could be a lot of assists, especially for Salah, so he can find those passes that a lot of players can't, and that's what you're getting him in your team. He'll get those assists, maybe a few goals as well. I think I'm leaning towards either him or Gapco maybe to get in there, and I see some goals and assists from those two. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting. So Wirtz is another one of these players who's classified as forward in Supercoach, midfielder in FPL.
Okay.
So is there room to fit both he and it's a risk having two forwards from the same team playing together?
Yeah, that's different. That changes the mindset.
Absolutely.
You want to get players like Watkins and other attacking players in there as well that aren't always. The wingers are lucky because usually they're midfielders in FPL, so that changes the way you think of how you play this game. So, it's a bit to think about. We're
going to have a very interesting chat next time we meet, and you have put your midfield together, and we're doing the reveals and seeing how we both line things up, given all these little variations on what we used to. Right, we're all learning together in this one. Another Liverpool player that's come in. He's the most owned defender in Supercoach at the moment, Jeremy Frimpong, coming across To Liverpool from Germany as well. Was part of a disappointing RB Leipzig team last year, but still had a massive output in terms of double-figure goals and assists for a defender, which is why so many are keen on him at this stage. I'll ask you, do you expect him to be the starting fullback for Liverpool this season, or are you expecting a little bit of rotation there from Arne Slot?
Yeah, I think so. Last year you had Alexander Arnold there. Obviously, he had a few injuries, so Bradley was playing a little bit. But, they've brought him in to play, I think. Bradley will challenge him, but I think early on Frimpong will be in. So, could be a good choice. A lot of goals and assists in his last few years. So, I think he's a good one to get in there.
It fits the profile of a player that plays
on the
well
same side as Salah.
Exactly right. So he fits that profile. He's the sort of defender that we're always looking for. Valued highly at 6.5 million. I think that's understandable given the output. He's a bit of a risk for me. I don't have him in many of my drafts at the moment, but I'm sort of edging closer and closer and hearing you say that as someone who watched Liverpool so intensely last year. I'm tending towards him further and further. I was trying to stay away. It was a little bit of a risk, but I can't get away from him at the moment as someone who's going to be consistently high output.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how much you want to spend in the front third.
Yeah.
That's where maybe you don't have enough to get someone like that. So, it just depends. You've got to try and balance your team as much as possible. But, even Wirtz being in the front three, that's interesting, I think that's going to change things.
It poses Liverpool as even more an attacking threat than they were last year, which is incredible to say given how successful they were. But they could be a little bit more back to the Klopp, heavy metal football and driving forward and really throwing numbers forward with some abandon. Let's go to Spurs quickly. Coming off Ange Postecoglou, and I go here because they have two of the highest owned defenders in the game at the moment as we sit here just a week away from the start of the season. Destiny Udogie is the second most owned defender, 4.6 million, 31% of players owning him. New manager Thomas Frank in there, and Mickey van der Ven is the other one. 5.2 mil, had all those problems with his knees last year. The first thing I'll ask you is, as a centre half, and you're a quick centre half, particularly in your younger days. Mickey, can you see him coming back to full fitness and really making a run in this team? Because I don't think there's any doubt of his talent, but he's a bit of a risk for me at 5.2, given the problems he had last year and the problems Spurs had defensively.
Yeah, that's another thing. Obviously different coach, different methods of how they're going to play, but I really like watching him as a defender. I think he's good to watch. He's very quick, reads the game quite well as well. So you might get a lot of those points, especially with the new system. But I'm not sure. Yeah, the injury is obviously a bit of a concern. The whole Spurs team had injuries last year. So, do you stay away from the whole team? I don't know. They're sort of a bit of an unknown team. No Maddison this year as well because he's done his ACL. But, it should be interesting with Van der Ven because I think he's a good player. But, I don't know if you can take the risk.
No, I'm tending away from him. Udogie really interests me. A third of players owning him was in and out of the team. When Postecoglou's team was flying, he was one of the players who went, wow, this guy can really go. But he was also one who was finding himself dropped a couple of times because of the attitude, the decision-making, defensive problems that he had. Again, another one that fits the bill for us, one that's going to be flying forward and getting a lot of Spurs attacking moves started. Can you take the risk with him? 4.6 mil, suddenly you're looking at a more reasonable price.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad shout, to be going for a defender like that, playing in a big club. It could be a good shout, someone that's that cheap. Could be someone I might look at actually, being that cheap and someone who gets forward. Not a bad option.
Absolutely. I'm tended towards him as well. I'm gonna have to make room there somehow because if I have Frimpong in and then I'm bringing in Udogie as well, I need to see him be on the field because, I don't know how this new manager is going to take to him. Ange was a big fan at the start, seemed to cool on him towards the end. That's going to be a real interesting storyline. Another one that's up there, and I wonder how much of this is just sort of the name being up in lights, and people know the name Kyle Walker. 24% of people owning him, but he's gone to Burnley, who have just come up. We know the record of the teams coming up into this division is not strong. Yeah. The last 6 to come up have gone straight back down. So he's another one. Can you risk him? 4.2 mil, a budget defender. Is it just the name that has people getting him in?
Obviously, he's had a good career, you know.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. No questioning that. No questioning that whatsoever. And Sheffield United boy, so I'm a Sheffield United fan. Sheffield United boy. Okay. So I've been a big fan of Kyle Walker the whole way through.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those players that you sort of looking at if you've gone heavy in the front third again in the midfield. Not a bad option. Yeah. He should play every week, bearing injury. And you should get some assists as well. Yeah. Like Burnley's not going to score a lot of goals, I don't think, but you never know. He could be someone interesting. They've actually signed a new goalkeeper as well.
Yes.
So they might be a bit stronger at the back than people think. They might have to park the bus a little bit.
Yep.
and get teams on the break. But he could be an interesting option actually.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just how much he plays. It's such an interesting jump, isn't it? Because coming down from, a club that was the hegemonic power, if you like, the one that everybody was chasing for so long, now to come and join that team. One thing we will say about Burnley as well, they had that ridiculous defensive record down in the Championship last year. In 46 games, they conceded 16 goals. Sorry, that's their goal difference. No. Goals against. I'm looking at it going, 16. That must be the goal difference. They conceded 16 goals across 46 games.
Wow.
That sets you up coming into the Premier League perhaps better than some of the teams we've seen recently. You think of Southampton trying to play out from the back and getting themselves in trouble. You think of Ipswich throwing away points. Burnley are not going to do that, at least.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that stat, but for Burnley to come in the Premier League with that.
I was second questioning and reading it out. It's such a ridiculous record.
For that many games in the Championship, that's incredible, to be honest. So, if they can keep that up, or obviously it's going to be a lot harder in the Premier League, but, the foundation's there, and, if they can just build on that and maybe, add some players and try and work on the attack, then, that can be a good thing going into the season for, a newly promoted team. Maybe they can, have a lot of draws, and for that, as a defender or goalkeeper, that's very good.
Exactly right. You're getting 8 points for a clean sheet if you're back there. So why not? Yeah. Throw them in, see how things go early in the season. The last defender I want to push you on, Big Virgil van Dijk. What a player. 21% ownership at the moment and costing 9 mil. He's by far the most expensive defender in the game for good reason. Liverpool's defensive record last year, very, very strong.
Yeah, Big Virg. He's popular this year, especially with the new rules, Yeah. And he also scores a few goals here and there. So, he's not a bad shout. Going to cost you quite a bit. So that's the only thing. But, he should return a lot of points, a lot of clean sheets, I can imagine. It's a risky move in terms of the price, but I think it'll pay off as well at the same time.
This is part of the fun, isn't it? If you are looking to bring someone in like that, you're going to get consistency. He's going to start every week, but you're probably downgrading one or two players either in your midfield and your attack to get him. It's a balancing act.
Risk reward, It's that's why I always like to go. High with the strikers and the midfielders. Usually they're the ones that have more assists and goals. Sometimes, they can play well all game, and then as a defender you cop a late goal and the clean sheet's gone. So, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but
it only takes a moment up front, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you could do nothing all game and score the 90th minute. Yeah. Maybe you're getting the bonus points as well. I don't know. Is there
no bonuses in this game? But you do have key attacking stats. So key passes, chances created, stuff like that. Shots on target are scoring you a point everyone you have there.
Right,
so
okay.
a player like a Haaland, a Salah, that's why they're valued more highly in this
okay.
game, because you are getting points for those individual statistics versus relying on whatever they were giving bonus points for in FPL. I like that side of things.
That's cool, yeah.
In terms of Supercoach, you're actually getting, more data that you can rely on rather than these mystery 3-2-1s popping out of thin air, and you go, how on earth? You've watched the game and you're going, how on earth has he scored those bonus points in that game? It happens far too often over in FPL. The last team we haven't talked about a lot, Arsenal. Bukayo Saka is a really interesting option for a lot of people. Again, another one that's a midfielder in FPL is classified as forward here, just over 10 mil. A player who takes on a lot of that attacking burden, should have Martin Odegaard for a little bit more of the season with him, and Victor Gyökeres has been signed. He's in at, I think, 7.5 mil at the moment. So there's a couple of options there from the team who are chasing Liverpool. I'll get your thoughts on them as a team, and then we'll pick apart one or two individual options.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal, they're a good team. Obviously, they've challenged the last few years, but they haven't won anything. A lot of pressure on Arteta now to deliver, and if he doesn't deliver this year, this could be his last as a coach. The fans are getting frustrated with him, and they brought in a few players now that could maybe take him to the next level to get that trophy. But yeah, in terms of Supercoach, there's a few options in that area, especially up front. Even the defensive area, you got some good players there.
Willy Saliba, Gabriel,
the goalkeeper, what's his name?
Who are we looking at? David Raya. Actually, they're most owned in the game at the moment in terms of goalkeepers, and we'll get to them in a moment as well.
So you got some options at both ends, So it's sort of I think you need at least one or maybe two Arsenal players. Probably usually go for the front third area. Saka's always a good option. Hurt him a lot when he was injured last year, so I'm sure he wants to have a big season this year, and that could mean a lot of goals and assists.
And it's interesting. So a lot of people are looking at sort of set pieces and penalties responsibilities. There was a comment from Mikel Arteta, I think it was last week, where he wouldn't be drawn on who was going to be given penalty responsibilities with Gyökeres coming in, because of course he'd been doing that for Sporting Club in Lisbon the last couple of seasons. He has a phenomenal record just quietly coming here. Very interesting option at 7.5 million. He could be someone we see his stocks rise very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's scored a lot of goals the last few years. Someone who I think will get a lot of service, from other players now. Especially he's in a better team than what he was, better league. Obviously there's a lot of pressure on him because he's coming in as a big signing. But I see him scoring quite a few goals this year, to be honest. He'll nail down that striker option, and now it's just about putting him back in the net.
How do you see them, and this is a question that's going to be answered early, how do you see them blending him in? Are you thinking they're going to go with him as the out-and-out striker consistently and use Havertz more in that 10 role, maybe in front of Odegaard, or playing with 2 8s? Like, how are you picturing that for Arsenal at the moment?
Yeah, to be honest, I think the team, they don't need Havertz playing up front now.
No.
He can be the link man.
Yeah.
Someone who can score goals as well.
Yep.
But at least he won't have that pressure on him to have to score every week. He can have that connection with Gyökeres, And on the wings, obviously, he's got some top players as well. Saka's obviously one of them, but they've got many good players.
Martinelli out there as well.
Martinelli's always a good option, usually in fantasy. So, for Supercoach, I can see him delivering a lot of points as well. Arteta's a big fan of his. He plays almost every game. Almost 90, I think.
It's very rare sub.
Yeah.
Very rare.
He's always on there when he can have tap-ins or... Yeah, so there's a lot of options, and the roulette's not as much as at Man City with Pep. So usually the same players are playing week in, week out almost. So
absolutely.
Arsenal could be a few good options there. So, choose wisely there.
Two more clubs to get to before we get away from things. And I bring up Manchester United because Rasmus Højlund is one of the most owned value options in the game at the moment. 3.9 million, had a disappointing season, but that price point has got people. Yeah. The situation has changed in the last 72 hours. Benjamin Sesko signing with the club. It's a big name signing, 80 million. They've really invested the money. It's hard to see Højlund now. He was in a lot of my early drafts just because of the value option, the fact he was going to get so many minutes.
Yeah.
In a United team, I think it can't be as bad as last year, can it? Really? Maybe it can. Who knows? But the pressure's on Ruben Amorim. He's made this big signing. He's going to start him. I think Højlund now is someone you should be steering away from just because those minutes are going to be limited. But some interesting signings there as well. Brian Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha from Wolves.
Good players.
For those guys, it's going to be very interesting. We will talk about Sesko a little bit more later in the week when we come back to record our team reveals. But just your thoughts on Manchester United as a whole this season.
Obviously enjoyed them not doing well.
Absolutely.
That's to start with. But I think there's some good players that they brought in. I enjoyed watching Mbeumo and Cunha at Wolves last year. They're good players, obviously. But at the same time, I feel like Man United's had this
How
thing
many
in the
players
last
have we
10
seen
years.
go there?
And they're top players, right?
Yeah.
And they come to Manchester and they're just not the same. Or the team doesn't do well. And I don't know. It's a strange thing that the coach or the club has to try and work out. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
I enjoy.
I'm not worried about that.
I enjoy watching them suffer, but Sesko as well. He's a top player, and there's pressure on Almiron as well. Obviously, he needs to deliver something. They need to do better than last year. They were close to the relegation zone.
Exactly. They were 16th.
Yeah,
them and Spurs. Just remarkable.
Massive clubs, right?
Yeah.
And they need a bounce back this year. Otherwise, if they have a bad start, he could see the door quite early. So, a lot of pressure on him. Pressure on the new signings to deliver as well. But I think Bruno will. Yeah. He'll be someone that he's quite interesting to have in your team. He's always usually on penalties. Usually takes the free kicks as well. Not sure if he will with these new players coming in, but I think he will.
He's still the captain. He's the leader of that team at the moment, right? He was one of the best scoring midfielders last year, owned by 13% at the moment, 11.4. You're getting him in for at the moment. If you've gone for two big players in other positions, it's probably going to be difficult to fit him in. He's at that awkward price point, right? Because if you want to upgrade, you can't really do it from 11.49. And if he doesn't start the season well, it's an awkward one for me. I know I like him. He's a player who's going to score reliably, but he's probably one you have to stick with. He's not one you're going to be flicking in and out over the course of the season.
And he's a midfielder, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they have classified him there. He's one of the few.
Yeah. No, I think like I said, you got to look at the fixtures and see who they have early. I'm not sure, but
it's a tricky start for Manchester United.
Yeah, but in saying that, they're a big club. They need to start the season well. That could be interesting move, pod move maybe. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And so hosting Arsenal on the opening day, not sure how many points you're going to get. Then they go away to Fulham, host Burnley, and then away to Manchester City and hosting Chelsea in the first 5 weeks. That's
tough.
You've got to have some faith in those players.
Yeah.
If you're going for Manchester United at the moment, Manchester United players at the moment. Last one, we've talked a little bit about Cole Palmer. I want your thoughts on Joao Pedro, signing from Chelsea. Signing for Chelsea, from Brighton, came off the beach during the Club World Cup and basically led them to victory. He was straight into Enzo Maresca's starting side. I'm thinking, given their depth, we're going to see quite a bit of rotation, but is he a value option at 8.4 mil, 13% ownership at the moment? Again, he's probably a point of difference, but not the worst option out there, I don't think, at that price point.
No, there's someone I'm going to be looking at, to be honest. I think he scored a lot of goals for Brighton, especially last year.
Early, but then tapered off toward the end of the season. He had that phenomenal start, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think Brighton had a bit of a good start and then they dropped off a little bit as a team. Maybe that coincided with him.
Injury issues, a couple of different things. Roberto De Zerbi's future was up in the air for a little while. They had a funny year.
Yeah, I think he could be a good signing.
Yeah.
I think him and Palmer will have a good combination in the front third, and I'm not sure who would be taking the penalties. And
I think they'll all be Palmer's for the moment.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be doing well to wrestle the ball out of his hands, given his form at the moment. No, no.
But he took him last year, so that was one reason to get him in your team last year. But Yeah, I think what's Chelsea's early fixtures again?
Let's have a quick look as we get these up here. So Chelsea going, where are they? Going to Palace, hosting Palace on the opening day, away to West Ham, home to Fulham, away at Brentford, and then a visit to Old Trafford in game week 5.
Not too bad, yeah.
No, I think there's scoring potential there for those guys in there. I still have Palmer as the guy I'm having there, but if you've gone big, particularly further back, then perhaps
could be a good option.
It could be the cut price option if you're looking for a Chelsea player there.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of their other attackers and maybe wingers have either moved on or they're about to move on, maybe with all this stuff going on with Isak at Newcastle. Yeah. Jackson could end up going there, and who knows? It's hard to know what's going to happen before the window closes, which is always an exciting time.
That is the one point, though. It does seem that Pedro seems to have the North. He's not exactly the same player. In fact, more of a wide player than Nicholas Jackson. But there's only so many attacking players that Maresca will be able to fit into his side, right? So
he could be an interesting one. Yeah, but I think most people will lean towards Palmer. That's
just the consistent output.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You've got that record there. Just want to touch on a couple of goalkeepers quickly because there's been some movement there. David Raya is the most owned in the competition at the moment. I don't think there's any surprise about that. James Trafford being brought in by a lot of players given his move to Manchester City. Carl Darlow at Leeds had a good year and is moving to a club that's newly promoted, comes in at a cut price option. Emi Martinez highly owns, but there's some news that he might be on the move at the moment. Alisson always seems to be there. And Dusan Petrovic coming in at Bournemouth is a really interesting one. A lot of people in the FPL sphere really like him as an option.
Okay.
And Bournemouth's early fixtures lead them to keeping on going. I'll get it out eventually with that good record defensively they had last year.
Yeah, right. I mean, there are a lot of good goalkeepers at big clubs, but then you got Kelleher, who's
gone to Forest now.
Brentford.
Brentford. Sorry, yes, right you are.
He's at Brentford. He's a good keeper. Yep. He's cheap, I think.
Not in Supercoach. I think he's one of the more expensive.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll get that price up quickly, but I think he's up over 6. In fact, make that 8 million in Supercoach. So if you come big on your goalkeeper, he's the one.
Yeah,
right. He's got a very good record from last season in that limited time at Liverpool.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, I mean, he could be an option maybe. Then you got the new Burnley keeper.
Yes, as well. Who are we going down to? Burnley. Where are we going? Have they even included him yet? I'm scrolling down here and I've not got him. So that's interesting.
Well, he should be in the game soon.
Yeah, there we go. Might be one for us to talk about during the week.
Yeah. And then you've got the Chelsea keeper, Sanchez. He could be a good option. I'm not sure what he's priced at, but I mean, with the early fixtures as well, that could be someone that that could be a good option.
Just under 7. He's 6.9 at the moment, Robert Sanchez.
Okay.
That's why a lot of people are going for Trafford because they're expecting that Edison's going to be moved away, and 3.9. I can see the reasoning, but David Raya, best scorer as a goalkeeper last year, played all 38 games, 6.7 million. That's the reliable option, but it's a big spend on a goalkeeper.
It is, yeah. And then you obviously want to get someone that maybe plays as your backup, just in case there's an injury or something late on, which is not easy to do if you go high, with the keeper. Usually go low with the keepers as well. But they do get you a lot of points at the same time. So it's interesting what you end up doing with the keepers because, if you pick a Liverpool keeper, Alisson obviously gets a lot of clean sheets, same as Man City. But when they don't, it just seems not worth having these highly priced guys where you can get a lower team. Usually their clean sheets is what they're fighting for. At least try and get a point at some of these bigger clubs when they're playing away. Even at the home games, they want to be hard to beat. Just I think I'll be going for one of those cut price goalkeepers maybe, but have to see.
So I've gone for Petrovic at the moment to start with. They've got that tough there at Anfield on the opening day of the season, so that's not a great start. But then after that, they go Wolves, Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle, all teams that although being threats,
Yeah.
I don't think are going to put multiple goals past them week on week. So I like them there. And Carl Darlow's in as my backup just to have that cut price goalkeeper. He's going to be starting every week. And eventually, if Petrovic is playing a Liverpool, perhaps Leeds, are able to sneak some points there. That's my thinking behind my goalkeepers at the moment. We'll get through all that when we rejoin you during the week with our team reveals. Matty's got some work to do.
I do,
get in there, get in researching, get the spreadsheets out, all that sort of stuff. Have a look at, study the fixture lists. Thank you for your company today on the SC Playbook EPL podcast. We're just going to touch on a couple of things before we leave. Back in pre-season training, we've got access to you, so we're gonna explore a couple of Australian football topics just quickly before we end the podcast. Pre-season with Macarthur going around again. Excited as ever. Is retirement any closer, or not thinking about that just yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously closer than what it was when I was starting, but unfortunately, you can't play forever.
I tell you what, I was at the game you guys played against the Wanderers at Combank Stadium. You still look like you had the fire in the belly in that game late in the season.
Yeah, I mean, love playing against the Wanderers, but it's still love playing, still enjoy playing, and still love winning. So pre-season's been good. Only just started a couple of weeks ago, so just getting ready for the season, and obviously got the Australia Cup games coming up, which is good. And we're also in Asia again this year, so looking forward to that. We've got a good team, some good signings that have come in. We're expecting big things from us this year.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear that. And just quickly, less exciting news. So we got the release through, or the story through yesterday, or on Friday, in fact, that Western United have had their licence stripped by Football Australia, given the debts, given the problems they've had with the stadium out there. Just your thoughts on that. And is this, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a blight on the A-League, because I question whether it was the right decision they were given the licence in the first place, but that is a team that has so far overachieved, given the finances, given the stranglehold, basically the restraints John Aloisi's had around him in that time at the club, to go and win a championship. The players and the football staff there have been unbelievable. It's a shame it hasn't been able to be sort of backed up in the front office.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, obviously, just for football in general, football fans, and obviously the players and the coaches and all the staff members and anyone that's got a connection to Western United. So it's not good news. Apparently, there's a lot of money in debt, and I mean, I think they've appealed the decision.
Absolutely. So it's not the end of the story by any stretch. The team is still out training while this is all under appeal. So, but I think there's some agents that have been making some calls over the weekend. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, you can't really do much. You just got to get on with it, and just sort of wait and see what happens with this situation. Things can just change very, very quickly on the daily. So, but for those players, I'm sure they're unsettled at the moment and unsure of their future, which isn't it's not good.
No.
Being a footballer, you want to know where you are and what you're doing, and the season's not far away, and to have this news come out, it's even for us, we're thinking, there's one less team, and the buy is out the window now for this season. Like, what happens for the rest of the season? So interesting times, but hopefully it all works out for the better, and hopefully they stick around.
Does it worry you at all as a player? Obviously, you're closer to the end than the beginning now, but for the younger guys and those guys that you're playing with at the moment, does it worry you at all the finances and all the stories around that, about the A-League? Or is it just something you push to the back of your mind and hope that everybody upstairs is getting their gear together?
I mean, as a older player now, you sort of get frustrated by these sort of things happening, because you think that the club should be run better, and they should be a bit smarter in how they invest their money. And, as a league, I think we should be smarter on how we invested money before as well. And I don't know, it's frustrating as a player, but it's not really going to hurt me as much now because I'm near the end, but it's going to hurt these young boys, with opportunities. And but at the same time, I've seen, especially in the last few years, a lot of young boys getting opportunities. So
Adrian Sekic scoring on debut for Portsmouth overnight against Oxford.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, and these guys, they're getting opportunities a lot more now, and they play maybe half a good season, even less now, and they're getting moved overseas. So in that regard, it's a good thing for the league and for the players, because they can they're getting these young boys in from their academies, and they're making money off these players. So a lot of the clubs have to change the way they sort of looked at their club or their players, their academy. All that's become a lot more important now, and they're trying to make money off players, which is a balancing act, obviously, to try and have success and make money at the same time. We sold a lot of players last season, and they were good players, good guys, and it was quite a thing that we needed to sort of balance halfway through the season, which isn't always an easy thing, but in the end, we just missed the finals, which was encouraging considering the players that we lost. But it's just we understand the clubs need to do that, but at the same time, we want to have success as well. So it's a balancing act. You have to try and be able to do both.
Yeah. Onwards and upwards for the league, hopefully, as we continue. And no buys this year, which will be, I'm sure for supporters, maybe. We haven't heard the end of it all. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll try and have a word with Matty towards the end of these podcasts, just about some of the other stories going on in football. But we'll be back during the week. Should be a Wednesday, Thursday. We'll sort out that schedule with ourselves and Matty the Waterboy. He's doing a great job behind the buttons for us here. Thanks for coming in, Matty. Appreciate it, buddy. We'll be back during the week. Get your teams in. Get excited. It's Saturday morning, 5 a.m. Liverpool hosting Bournemouth in the opening game of the EPL season. I'm Alex Molchanoff signing off for SC Playbook. Thanks, Matty Jurman, for coming in as well. Or Matty Jurman, I'll pronounce it correctly, hey? Right. We'll get there by the end of the season. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again during the week.